All right, welcome back to another episode of the Slide In Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the Kelly Inn, which resides in West Yellowstone, just a few hundred feet from the National Park's entrance. While they're open year-round, the shoulder seasons, April, May, September, October, even November, the perfect time to visit. Madison in the Park is now open year-round, which means you can fish streamers at dawn and then be back in time for a hearty hot breakfast with the family. Right now, West Yellowstone's a great place to be if you want to come down and fish the Madison, either between the lakes or kind of around Reynolds Bridge. We're going to have great midge action starting there soon. Best dry fly fishing of the year on the Madison, the midge fishing and the walk-wade stretch, essentially from now through maybe even mid-March. It's really good. So check out the Kelly Inn in West Yellowstone. Book your trip at www.yellowstonekellyin.com. Use promo code SLIDE2025 for 15% off your stay. The Kelly Inn, family-friendly comfort, world-class fishing, all in one spot. Once again, that is www.yellowstonekellyin.com. Use promo code SLIDE2025 for 15% off your stay. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. Yeah, I had a good Thanksgiving. Played a lot of golf. Saw a bunch of family, some friends. Had a couple of Coors Lights.
How's your mom and dad?
They're great. Thanks for asking. No, I had a good Thanksgiving except for...
Did you tell them I said hi?
I did. Yeah, I did. And they say hello. Yeah, good Thanksgiving. I apologize for my voice being more screwed up than normal. People always comment that I
whatever
sound
guy or girl it was that thought it sounded sexy, I'm like it better now.
Yeah, I'm getting my tonsils out on Tuesday, and I was talking a bunch of shit about them over Thanksgiving.
Where's that ball?
And they decided to cause me some strife one more time before they go. So I've got massive tonsillitis. I was in the emergency room getting drugs at 5 a.m. this morning. So if I seem a little out of it,
it's a good thing
I
you're here,
apologize.
because if you weren't, I'd fire you. Did you get the ball? She's driving me crazy. Get.
Here,
I'd be like that guy on the video.
I need a new photo of Ellie for the interrupting dog
she looks
segment.
like the worst lemur on earth with that one.
There you go. Oh, it's a crazy dog. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
It's freezing out here. We finally got winter.
I saw -8 on my way in this morning.
I got
chilly.
I'm as grunding up as you can get, man. I was layering up and I had to go out and plug my truck in. Jeez.
Block heater.
Yeah, it was like, holy schmoly. It was something out there.
And you sent Mel out to feed the horses?
No, she was at the other house.
Oh,
but she fed her horses in their yoga shorts, as always. She puts a coat on.
I think women
she
are
said
tougher
it was
than
chilly.
men. I think women are far tougher than men. Yeah.
They don't bitch about all their stuff either. That's what bugs me.
I am a huge bitch, yes. My tonsils are like grapefruits right now, and it is bothersome.
Wait till you're old and you go hang out with your buddies.
No, it's just
that's all it is. It's like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I can't listen anymore.
When we were on the Bighorn, it's just like, oh yeah, I'm taking this for my knees now. I gotta get a cortisol shot in my hip. Yeah, all that.
Who was that?
I'm making things up now.
That might have been Mike. Those guys are 80 and 85. Yeah. They can do it. That guy's, like 40 like me.
My 94-year-old grandfather has, none of a shoulder left, and he just gives a good, kind of thing, kind of sucks. Yeah, all right, well, let's get into some talking about fishing. So where was I going to start?
By the way, it's talking about fishing. I'm not going to answer many more casting questions. Just too long of I watched that show. It just goes on for, either we got to have one that's just casting. There's just no, it's like trying to walk somebody on the phone through a bomb, how to.
Yeah. It's really hard without being in person.
It is so, and everybody.
Yeah, it's tough.
It leaves so much room for that people to write in, you're so full of shit, you didn't say this.
Yeah, there's one guy that got really mad at me for talking about spay casting. Sorry, I'm passionate about it, and if you don't want to listen to it, start your own fucking podcast.
It's just so intense. It's so incredibly boring. We'll do one we'll get Howard and Bruce and Tim and Simon.
somebody
We'll
in.
do it with everybody, and we
should
can
do
just
videos of it.
Yeah,
maybe
how you
less
can't
podcast
talk
stuff.
through it. If you were there to,
Well, we can talk about it.
yeah, but
You
it's
can
like
talk about anything.
I listen to podcasts about other stuff, like taxidermy.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going, this is just a waste of my life. I mean, some of it I get, but some of it's you need to see it.
It's sort of, I would say it's even worse, but it's sort of like trying to learn how to tie flies from a book versus a video.
Yeah. I was reading this book this week and rereading it for the 100th time, but slow learner. But it was the same. Johnny said, even with pictures, Johnny said he quit tying flies because of Jack Dennis's book because he couldn't figure it out. Well, first he had to start with a humpy. I mean, only Jack can tie a humpy like that. But it's just that the casting thing is, if you live, it's like everything else. If you leave one step, if you're talking and and you're seeing it through and you just forget to say, well, do this, well, the whole thing falls to shit.
Yeah.
It's easy. I was listening to us. Johnny, by the way, got his feelings hurt that we talked over him.
Johnny got hurt that someone talked over him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sort of the cat calling the kettle black, isn't it?
Yeah, that's, I didn't think we did. I didn't think.
My favorite is talking to
wouldn't
Johnny.
have the balls to do it.
You ask him a question, and halfway through the question, he goes, no. And then answer, I'm like, that's not really what I was getting at, but okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so
I love Johnny.
just
Johnny's
saying,
the best.
let's get
Everybody loves
onward
Johnny.
and upwards.
And also, everybody that wants Johnny to be a part of this more consistently, once we've got a little better audio equipment, we will. But Johnny also has like very serious things he does constantly. Yes. He's the busiest man at this business, so it's really a pleasure when we can have him on. But we just can't have him on.
He's a new father.
Yeah, he's a new father. He's a very busy man, so it's really nice that he makes time to come on every once in a while. He knows he's got a standing invite to be on here whenever he wants. So we try to get him on as much as we can, and he'll be on again for sure. We're going to start trying to bring other people in too, just to keep things kind of new and interesting. On the casting thing, one more note. I've been doing this. I said I've been working with a bunch of my buddies on their spay casting and single hand stuff. A bunch of guys in the shop. A couple of friends from Bozeman too have been sending me videos and stuff. If you want me to look at your casting, I mean, I'm a total dork about it, total casting nerd. If you want me to kind of analyze it, take a video yourself. I don't want to see like out wide videos. I want inside, mostly what your hands are doing, and I'm happy to give you feedback. So you can find me on Instagram and send me those if you want, because I do enjoy doing that stuff. So then maybe we can talk less about it on the podcast. All right, let's jump into a question.
One answer.
Unless you have anything else. What did you say?
Nothing.
All right. This is a question from Adam Embry 52 on YouTube. It says, hello, Kelly and Slide In Podcast, which does include Braeden. I'm a huge fan of the Slide In Podcast and absolutely love the depth and knowledge you share. It is truly amazing. I recently listened to episode 51 and wanted to share a respectful thought regarding Kelly's comment near the end about great anglers always tying their own flies. As an avid and highly skilled angler here in Pennsylvania, I found that deep expertise in fish habits, lure mechanics, and presentation can sometimes outweigh the need to tie every fly. My focus is always on understanding what the fish is doing and how to make the fly lure react exactly as needed to elicit a strike. For instance, I might use a dungeon, but if I notice it needs a slightly different hang or undulation to trigger a reaction, I'll switch immediately to a flatliner. It's about knowing the right tool for the job. My point is that if an angler has mastered the knowledge of fish behavior and lure application, like Kelly clearly has, and knows precisely which pattern, dungeon, zoo cougar, flatliner, etc., will achieve the desired effect, they can still be counted among the great anglers, even if they don't tie every pattern themselves. Thank you again for the fantastic content. I look forward to the next episode. Keep it up. Adam.
Well, Adam, just so you know, I didn't say no. There's no. I didn't say always. There's no always. I say it over and over and over. There's no never. There's no always. Mm-hmm. There are, and I even brought up a couple people that are superstar anglers. I know a lot. It's a new generation. I'm speaking more from my generation and maybe 2 or 3 below me, it was the innovation is what's lacking from someone that doesn't tie to become great. You can be, I know a lot of rich people, guys my age have been never really, they've fished around the world 50 times. They can do what they're told really well, but they don't, they go through, it eliminates that innovative person who comes up with the new fly and the process in your mind to go through it. You know what I mean? It's like, this isn't working. And so a really good designer fixes a problem, right? And so, but like I said, it's a different world, and there are so many flies now, and if you're as you obviously, Adam is a very astute student in this sport, and probably really, really, really good too.
Yeah.
Because most people like that always sell themselves down.
Just by the way he's writing in here,
I'm sure the guy
he's alluding to a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, and he's a superstar, I'm sure of it. And at that point, and I can tell you, in the last 15 years, with so many new designers out there, and they're so freaking good, I mean, just crazy good, that you do have the ability to, obviously you can look at a fly in the water and you can look at a fly in a bin and say to yourself, I think that would do that trick, you know, but it was, to me, it was more, when I was talking, I was thinking more of the becoming that person at a certain level. If you didn't have the desire to tie your own flies in the old days, you were kind of stuck.
Right.
I mean, we have, easily an exponential growth in fly. I mean, you go back when I was a kid, you had 6 dry flies and 6 wet flies and, 2 or 3 streamers. That's not to say there weren't more. It was just, there's a lot of things that didn't exist. One, you didn't have beautiful color magazines and catalogs, and you didn't have fly shops. There were very few fly shops, unless you're lucky enough to live in a couple of the meccas, but even then it was pretty limited. And so the innovation part of it, the fixing your own problem, was huge. And as a guide in particular, and I can't remember that conversation, but I might have been alluding to the fact that in particular, I've never seen great guides. And I wouldn't count, tailwaters, fishing fucking beads and shit like that's actually fishing. Beads and, it's a different world now. That's what I'm saying. It's perdigons and beads and, but growing up as a guide in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, all the way to now, you had to fix your own problem. There weren't, podcasts and YouTube and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You had to fix. I make reference to a guy named Walt Grau not quite as much as I do Joe Brooks, but
right up there.
Right up there. I mean, I'm going to talk in a minute, or not in a minute, probably an hour, but about these flies. I found this, I'm insulating my garage, and I found these huge bins of flies. Mm-hmm. I mean, like 30 years of stuff that I was doing, and all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, just all kinds of stuff, right? And I'm going to talk about it in this thing, about the flies, because some of the things I did I thought were so stupid, but you get to see you can see the mind working, mm-hmm. right? And so when I said that, I was more alluding to the fact, like guides, and I know very few, in this generation, I know very few guides that don't tie their own flies, but I know very few guides that just started, like, other than a certain styles of rivers. You get on a tailwater fishery where you can fish 4 flies all year, and you're going to just go out and peg and nymph them or whatever you're going to do. That's not really fixing a problem, mm-hmm. right? I see lots of that nowadays. I see lots of guys that walk in, don't tie, never will, maybe never have, guides, and they know but they know what's going to catch fish, and they catch the shit ton of fish.
Right.
So, but they're not ever going to move the needle on where we are from right now. You take a Charlie Craven who guided and did that and looked to fix a problem every time he fished. George Daniels, all these guys all those guys down. So even the Perdigon guys I'm only dirting them for fun. These guys, Lance Egan, the guys like that, they are continuously looking to fix or make something better, right?
Right.
And that's what I was alluding to, is that you just don't get there by fishing everyone else's stuff. There's just no innovation. Your problem solving is limited. I mean, when you fish with a guy like Howard Croston, he'll look at your flies and he won't look at them. It's like, I get this feeling, he's got this laser eye thing, like the 6 million, and it takes a picture of it and he dissects it in his mind like instantly. But he doesn't have to pick it up.
No.
Right?
It's like you were talking about the musky guys. Was it the Musky Fool podcast? When they can just look at a fly and go, okay, yeah, I know what this is going to do.
Well, they roast it, right?
Right.
And I just think it's hilarious and it's fun and it's all in good spirit, right? Your fly sucks, but this is why, right? Because you submit them for a reason, right? But it's that's how, to me, just because you can go fish all over the world and you can go to the best places and the best time of year. Nobody picks the wrong time of year if you're going to spend that kind of money, right? So you get the best opportunity in the best water. Well, probably really underfished water too. And so you go catch a big fish. That doesn't make you great. And in Leonard Wright Jr.'s book, I can't remember which one it was, he's talking about being at a party in Manhattan. And this guy and he's a writer, right? He's one of the fishing the caddis is a living insect. He's just one of the most knowledgeable guys from the era that he's in. He's really ahead of his era in his knowledge, and he's talking about being at this party. And this guy, he says he's trying to introduce me because you got to meet Frank. Frank's the greatest. He's a real sportsman. He's a real fisherman. He's been to Alaska. Oh, so you can go where you can teach a monkey how to catch fish and catch a fish and take your picture, and you're good. Now go around the beaver kill and try that out, right? So that's what I'm getting at. And if you go back in time, with the exception of 2 or 3 totally despicable pieces of shit that was in our industry, all of them tied flies, right? All of them. And that's how, and if they didn't tie a lot, they could go and tell someone what they wanted. He just walks away like that and leaves me hanging.
Well, I forgot to start a stopwatch to see how long
frightening. I get scared over here.
You should be scared. I'm a scary guy. So I was thinking about this, and for a long time I came from a place of I fished really hard, but I didn't tie flies. I mean, I tied for a while. I never really got any good at it.
And just one more time, let me preface.
Yeah.
Your generation is different.
Right.
Because you've got the Ken Morishes and all these
people have done the heavy lifting for us
completely.
Yeah.
But you still got to put the piece of the puzzle together. And you still have to be able to look outside the box and say,
Well, and I remember you saying this, kind of talking about this to someone in the shop, and me being, sensitive and an egomaniac when I heard you say, you can't be a complete angler without tying flies. I was like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And then as I've now started tying flies, I go, okay, now I see it from the other side. And so I was going to liken it to baseball. If fishing and fly tying are 2 very important pieces of the puzzle. And you can be elite at one and not the other, or hopefully both, right? There are incredible fly tyers that are not great anglers. There are incredible anglers that are horrible fly tyers or don't do it at all. But if you want to be the most complete angler, you have to do both, right? So that's Ichiro is an incredible hitter, right? He's got most hits in a season. He's part of the 3,000 hit club, even though he came over to the MLB late. And yet he didn't really hit for power at all. He's not a good power hitter. And then there's guys like Kyle Schwarber, even Cal Raleigh this year, Adam Dunn, massive power hitters, horrible average. There's only one Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Right? He's the only member of the 400 home run, 400 steal club, 500 home run, 500 steal club. I mean, he's the most well-rounded player. If you want to be that guy, I think you have to do it all.
I think there's just like you said, the tires, some of the best tires in the world don't fish at all.
Right.
I mean, some of the most I mean, you look at the classic Atlantic guys. I mean, that is an art form all of its own, right? So
I got to shout out Jay Yokel up in Bozeman. He comes into the shop all the time. I think he's one of our best feather clients. And
Jay?
Yeah, you know Jay.
Best. I mean, he knows more about a feather than you know about your. Never mind.
Yes.
I mean,
no, he's.
Have you ever seen his ties?
I found his Instagram. I'd seen him on Facebook before, but I found his Instagram. I spent.
But
hours
he's not the guy
through.
that doesn't fish. The guy's a machine fishing.
He's an unbelievable angler.
Yes.
He's a really well-rounded.
Yeah, there you go.
When it comes to the sport, but if check him out on Instagram, I can't remember what it is, but he.
Find it.
He is. Yeah, I'll plug it in the YouTube. I might ask him if I can do that first, but. He ties a beautiful fly. I mean,
yeah,
really
and
cool.
he's a classic guy. Does everything. He does everything equally well, but that's my whole point. Is it's hard to do. Even with the plethora of flies we've got now. I mean, Jesus, you can walk into a fly shop and get overwhelmed. But if you are going to, what happens when? And it's kind of like picking on the Euro guys, right? When your whole game is one game, and you need to be able to switch it up. You don't, because you can catch a shit ton of fish. But if you really want to go to that next level, you kind of the original thing that got this all going when I was whining about the competition guys not fishing everything, right? And then I got stood down pretty good by Howard telling me that it was full of shit, that he carries 3 rods and he does fish everything. And Howard says, you should see the goddamn Spanish guys. And I just said, but what wins? And he goes, Euro nymphing. Yeah. Yes, but no one can these guys are all great anglers. And it was all in tongue in cheek and fun. But at any rate, when I look at Howard, I have a fly that when we were fishing, when we were getting our ass kicked, and he pulled out a streamer and that little tiny barely, I stole the son of a bitch. Yeah. It's a whole different, he colors it differently. It's really muted. The colors are very faint. But that's the difference. Like, if you're a great home run hitter, that's great, but you've never stole the base, you're not Barry Bonds, right? You're not, whatever.
Yes.
And so if you're a great Euro guy, or you're a great streamer guy, and I would liken streamer fishing to Euro in a sense that some people have rat-holed down either one, right? They've went down and just posted up right there, and that's what they do.
That's where I've been. I've been exclusively streamer fishing and spear fishing.
My first 20 years of fishing was almost exclusively dry fly, and all of my guiding was dry fly. And I mean, that's where I came from. And the same, and you perfected everything because you didn't get the chance to just nymph up fish, right? You didn't. And so, and who cares? If you're the best Euro guy in the world and that's all you want to do, who gives a shit? I don't. I'm going to make fun of you just for fun. Yeah. But, you can think that I only streamer fish, but you're not going to be, I would hate to not have to tie all those flies. Yeah. I mean, the thought of, like this morning, I'm sitting there looking out, it's 8 below zero. Last night when I was in the garage insulating, it's blowing like 100 miles an hour. I'm like, oh shit, we're going to get snowed in, right? And all I could think of is when I was a kid, when that shit would happen, it was like, sweet. 4 hours of pure tying. Yeah. Yeah, I get to go, but that's me. That's just how that's what I like to do. And now with the internet, you get to share it. One of my favorite things, I don't know who started it, if you dig this fly tying thing, look up fly tying spaces. I'm on it all the time. And it's just guys and girls fly tying rooms. Cool. And it is so badass.
Oh, it's just like their setups.
It's their setups. It is so cool. And there's a bunch of Irish fly. I do.
You know who has
I'm all over the world in fly tying.
Have you seen
looking at it?
Jeff's from West Yellowstone. Jeff. Oh God, what's his name?
Skier?
Patterson? No. I'm blanking on his name. He was tying at the Wretched Mess. The steelhead guy. Spay dude. Big Jeff. He's tying next to Kyler.
Unger?
No. Oh God. He's going to kill me.
Wait 40 years. Yeah. It gets better.
I'll say I've talked about him many times. Okay. He's always at Barnes Hole. Mm-hmm. I saw his posts on Facebook it's might be the most complete fly tying room I've ever seen.
I just looked at one this morning. I bet the guy has 800 thread racks. There's one guy over on Silver Creek. his was pretty outlandish.
Yeah.
What's the background? Silver Creek. Oh. Copy you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But
that's all right.
Back to the point, there are superstar, great fishermen and fisher people, women who do not tie their own flies. But I've seen very few, let me put it that way. And I've guided if I actually did a trip, it'd be close to 50 years right now. I have guided some of the best. I'll get to this a guy that wrote me a letter, which I think's cool. Thank you, even though you're beating me up my ass, but it was fun. But I've guided so many, even a lot of the people he talked about that I should pay attention to. I said, oh, okay. But the number, I could count it on one hand of the people that are in that elite.
That's a good question. Who's in the 500 home run, 500 steal club in the world of fly fishing? Who is elite at both the fishing and the tying side? I'm going to give you 400 and 400.
Bucky, guys like that. I mean, we could go on.
How good was, what's his name who did the Swimmy Jimmy? How good of an angler was he?
Andy?
Yeah.
You can't get better.
Yeah, so he's up there.
Oh, I mean, I could, if I gave me an hour, I could, in a memory check, I could write you.
Come on.
And quite frankly, a lot of those guys, like Andy, they quit.
Right.
They master and move, right? Mm-hmm. And I see it with fly tyers do the same thing. They can only, you master and move on, but what really bother people and see how many people move into gear fishing because there's so much more depth of it. And so, but I would say virtually no matter where you go, I don't care what state it is or what country it is, you'll find, you walk into, and I don't care, like Andy's from middle of nowhere, Lancaster, Minnesota, right? And there's guys, but the musky fool guys, you go down on the white, there's 3 or 4 guys there, they're just, there's a certain level. There's only 1 or 2 Barry Bonds. Whoever the hell that is, I don't know. I've fished with guys, Howard.
You know, probably very few people actually know that guy.
Who?
Right? Barry Bonds is out there moving in the shadows, and no one knows him.
Oh, I've said it for years. The best anglers in the world, people nobody's ever heard of.
Right.
And I mean, people are always writing me. They're always writing me acting like I think I'm so great. I could do 50 right now. People I know are better than me. I would hope at 67 that they're 66. I would hope they're better. Yeah. You guys your age, like Johnny, for Christ's sake. If everything I've poured into that dumbass didn't stick, and he's not better than me, I'm a shitty instructor.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I've spent 25 years trying to make him, and but I don't have to make him anything. He looks at it, just like with Howard. It's so intimidating when you fish with him. He looks over to see what you're doing. He's just taken everything you've ever learned in 20 years and absorbed it in 3 seconds.
Like,
right?
I'm editing that show right now where it's the first day he ever threw big streamers. Right?
Oh, God.
That was all right, so, kind of, land it right above where you want, or where you think that fish is going to be. He goes, got it. He goes, yeah, and you want to strip it off the bank. And he goes, how far? You go, well, in better water, 15, 20 feet, maybe even a little longer, but a lot of the time we're looking for that, either on the bank or the first shelf.
Yeah, it was a chase day.
Got it. All right, next question. He had 10 questions in the first 3 minutes. He goes, okay, yep, got it. And then he fished it really well.
And then we got home and he asked me, well, when's a chase day and when's a, long retrieve day?
Yeah.
I said, well, you can't really put and we go, and there's an hour of that.
Right.
But you know that he's not forgetting anything. It's just like Johnny. What has he ever forgot?
Nothing.
Andy, I think, reads your mind and is before you can even. He's just one of those guys.
I mean, I didn't meet Andy Mill when he was out here, but it sounds like he was the same way. Where he's watching your streamer presentation, going, it's just comprehending immediately.
What he comprehended, he must have had 50 questions.
Right.
There's 8 other people in the room, and he's like, wait. Best seminar I've ever done in my life.
That was at a streamer school,
Made
right?
you think, yeah. When he's making you think, but it's those cats. You see, Andy, what else did he do? He's a really shitty skier too, right?
Yeah.
Olympian, everything he's ever done. Why? Because he wanted to
he's a
move
bad hunter too. I never see him with giant bulls.
Like always? Mm-hmm. Not so much anymore. He says he can't hike anymore.
Fair. But I've seen a lot dating back.
Oh, yeah, he's everything. Flip pallet, any of those. Look at any Lefty Cray. I mean, Lefty's son is on Facebook right now posting pictures of his, and he's always putting a picture of his dad tying. He goes, my dad's favorite pastime.
Yeah.
He says it all the time, right? And it's all just keeping his memory alive. And it was like, yeah, but it doesn't have, like I said, today is a new world. I mean, my God, if you can't walk into a fly shop nowadays, it's hard. I mean, I've been a designer since I was a kid, trying to figure out new flies and do stuff, and it's getting harder every day. That's why, but the only way you're going to do that, to shift, to move that needle, is you fix something that's broken. That's what people are always saying about this guy that I'm going to beat up here in a minute, not badly. He's saying, like, you didn't invent it. No. Fly fishing's been around since, now I just found a reference to 50 AD.
Whoa.
50. I mean, we used to talk like in
Oh, people that refer to your book as AD and BC.
Yeah, well, this is well, they do the same thing with the steelhead books.
Gotcha,
Yeah, with the Trey Combs book and Deck's books, BC and AD, I mean. But yeah, so at any rate, Adam, it wasn't, I probably did say that mistakenly, but I also say always, there's no such thing as always, no such thing as never in fishing.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
And like I said, I was in that camp where I thought you didn't need to tie to be a complete angler. I'm not saying I'm a complete angler, by the way. I every time I get better, I realize how much more I have to learn. And at this point, it's infinite what I have to learn. But I do think I have gotten better as I started tying. I mean, for example, I think
everybody does.
I was on a fishing trip. I went with Chuck and Jake. I'm not going to name the river where I was because it's sort of a secret place that there's rumored to be large brown trout there. And so we were going in search of one of those. We waited 2 days and took a boat the middle day. We saw a grand total of maybe 4 brown trout the entire time, and they were spooking off the boat. Chuck had one follow his fly. Now the water's low, so I went home. I spent 2 nights staying up late tying what I thought would be good low water flies, because I thought, and I was mostly spay fishing, I thought they might be spooking off the fly landing. So I moved away from Skagit. I went with a long Scandi head, a long leader. I was fishing about a 16-foot leader to a small, unweighted, was a Lucky Bucky on a size 3 Alec Jackson hook. And it's a Lucky Bucky.
I love that hook.
It's the sexiest hook.
I don't hook fish well with it.
What's that?
I don't hook fish well with it.
Oh, I hooked a couple fish well with it.
But I don't know if it was the old days, but I got scared off of them, and then everybody else did the same thing. But
they look so
one
good,
or two.
though.
Oh, it's a great, most beautiful shape. Hook. It is the Marilyn Monroe of all hooks.
We've got them on slide. Yes, yeah, we've got them on slidin.com.
And I still fished them, but I had to go. I didn't do well in the really big ones. Is where I didn't do well. Mid-size, I never saw a difference, but some of my big ones, I was just scared.
So
everybody else told me I was full of shit too.
Right. So
gets in your head.
Well,
and
and
truthfully,
truthfully, I haven't fished them much. I bought my first pack, 2 weeks ago. So I was tying on them, and I was tying. It's essentially a Lucky Bucky. I'm not taking credit for the pattern. I screwed to the colors and changed it a little bit, but it's a Lucky Bucky, kind of done in black and maroon with a little bit of guinea in there too. So it's got a little bit of modeling up front. And the theory being I could land that fly more subtly. Hopefully, since the water's low, that fly's naturally going to sink a little bit in slow water, so it's going to break through just enough. And I thought I might be able to get it in front of a large brown trout in a more sly way, given that it felt like they were spooking off our big flies that were landing violently, that they weren't on.
But think about it. Didn't work, right?
No, I got some rainbows, and it's really interesting. I'm curious how many people have had this happen before. I got a pike on a swing, on a 2-hander on that little fly. I just don't know how many
minnows for a living.
I know, but I don't know how many people have gotten pike on spay rods. At least the people I said thought that was.
There's a lot of rough fish in Europe, so I'm sure.
Gotcha.
So
Europe, I'm sure.
And I'm sure.
But I got one on a Lucky Bucky.
And I think Walt got one on a spay once in the PM once too, but he was fishing a streamer more. Not a streamer, but
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was him. It could have been John.
So it bit the fuck out of my hand, and I'm all infected
good. I'm
now.
glad your hands hurt.
Yeah, it's
Remember
great.
when you laughed at me when I did that?
Yeah. I didn't laugh at you.
My ass.
You said
told everybody.
No, I
posted
watched
up,
the
you
video. You
piece of
said
shit.
get that thing out, and I went to jam my hand down the fish, and you go, no, fuck off, let me do it. I'm like, all right, I was going to do it. I'm a loyal.
The point is for the person who doesn't tie to make themselves complete angler, misses that entire event you got to participate in. You got to participate, as I tell people all the time when they're lazy pieces of shit, participate in your own freaking life. You know, go rake your own yard, do something, be part of your own freaking life. You would have missed this entire opportunity to sit and think without the rod in your hand, because it really takes the thinking process away. When you fish, and that's what people do. And they just fish, and I just try this, I'll try that. And it's not really a thought process. Well, some it isn't. But when you go home and you say, I'm gonna switch out the Scandi or the Skagit and go to the Scandi, I'm gonna go a longer leader, and I gotta have a fly that sets just right. Well, you don't think how Bucky came up with this shit was the same thing?
Right.
The day, nobody learns anything when it's a great day. You don't learn shit. In fact, you probably go backwards because it's too easy. The day when you can't catch a fish and everything's in front of you and it should be working and you get your ass kicked, that's where superstars come from. And it's when you go back and you say, I got to do something, that's the whole part of this discussion. You went home and said, I have to do something different. That's what moves the needle in people.
And I didn't.
Whether it works or not.
Right. I didn't get a giant brown, but I got a 22.5-inch rainbow on that bug. I got another one that was about 21, and then I got a pike.
Yeah.
And for a moment, I thought that pike was the brown trout I was looking for.
Pike usually nip little flies, and you feel it for a while.
It just stopped.
And then he just
all of a sudden it just stopped. He just ate
it then.
And then it didn't move. And I'm like, So I waited a second or two, because I beat the trout set out of myself after a while, but I yanked back against him. All of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, it's him.
Oh yeah.
And then he started swimming upstream.
How big was he?
I gotta show you.
30?
I didn't tape him. My guess
30?
is 30. Yeah, 30, maybe 32. He's kind of long, but he.
That's what a pike is.
Yeah, it's not a big pike, right? It's not a big pike,
no,
but
it's called a hammer handle.
But it's a big fish for me,
just
right?
so you know, it's called a hammer handle.
Hammer handle.
That's what you call a little pike.
Yes, a hammer handle. Well, I got a littler one right before that, reeling in a bang tail.
I got a hero retrieve.
Yeah, I was just reeling it in.
I still have never done that.
It's the first time. First time I've ever had it happen.
God,
No,
Miles acts like it happens to him in Chile all the time.
I know. I had it happen once on the Ruby, but yeah,
I'm waiting.
It's
I mean,
someday. But
on the lake, I'm sure it's going to happen every time I reel in.
I thought it was him, and he peeled drag, and I've never caught pike before, so I don't know.
They don't usually peel too far.
Holy shit, he didn't go super far, but like really strong.
20 feet's a pretty good push.
Yeah, I would say he did 3 20-foot runs. I kept getting him in close to me, and he just peeled drag again. I was fishing a click ball, but I was fingering it. So yeah, to wrap that up, cool experience to feel like I had an idea of what the problem is. And by the way, I'm not necessarily right; it didn't work, but to see a problem and then try to solve it, like it was really fun.
That's what makes the complete angler.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun.
Just because it doesn't work, you've changed the thought process, and the next time you go out and it does work, and then. It's not, and eventually you get to database all that, and then you say, well, the sky was this, the water was this, the time of year was this, and you start putting it all together, and if you're like Johnny, never forget any of that shit, it's like having an Excel sheet straight in front of your face. Right. I go home and get a stone thing, start knocking on it and see what was I thinking about, but it's all what it is. And a couple, 3, 4 of those things. If you could talk to I was in Bates' book. He was telling a story. I've read the same thing 10 times probably. And he was talking about watching this old guy, and they're in a canoe, both of them, and he's on a lake, and he's watching minnows. He comes up to the guy, and they both realize they're fly fishermen, right? And he said, I'm watching the minnows to decide what streamer to put on. And Bates says to himself, that was the day I quit picking streamers for no reason. This is a guy writing this book, right? Because streamers, he has, ideas on why fish eat. And he says, but that was the day when I realized that he's watching the minnow for an action and a color.
Intentionality.
And that's the day that he started doing the same. Guy's pretty freaking ahead of his time.
Right, yeah.
But there it is,
How old
right?
is that book?
50, I think.
Yeah.
54, I can't remember. I think it was 50-something, 54, I think. It's a great book. He did a lot of great books. 50.
To wrap up my pike and rainbow experience, on my last night, it's kind of funny, I was trying to do like a little, almost a dopamine fast of things that I do sometimes. I drove in there, I was camping out in the boonies. I brought 0 beers, no edibles, no nothing. I had no books, nothing. I was just going to sit and build a fire and think until I could go to sleep.
How very Fred Bear of you.
It was a scary thing to do. I learned I like having distractions. But on the last night, I decided
I could poke a fire for 3 hours and never move.
I love building fires. It's so fun to tend fires.
Very primal.
But on my last night, I decided to drive into the closest town where they've got a bar.
Get totally shit-faced.
No. I had 2 Coors Lights. Everyone else in there was totally shit-faced, though. And it's such a small town that when you, I opened the door and it's like that scene.
Everybody in the
Animal
place
House.
looks at you.
I swear to God, the record scratched. I opened the door and every single person, the bar was completely full except for one corner seat. Everybody looked at me and I went,
I've never seen the bar full.
good evening, fellas. It was Friday night. And so I went over to the one seat and this gal next to me, the first thing she turns to me and says, she goes, so hypothetically, if you just ran over 2 U.S. Marshals in your car and fled the scene and had to go to court, would you take the jury trial or the plea deal? And the guy next to her goes, I'd be in Cozumel, Mexico yesterday. I was like, that was great. So, classic small town. It was great. But
I've never seen the place full.
yeah, I'd been there with Jake and Chuck the week prior, but we didn't get much of that local touch. We were just sitting at a table on our own. But yeah, good fun, good adventure, kind of fun to try something. And the last note on that, the Lucky Bucky, Bucky McCormick's fly. I know Bucky listens to the show. We've talked about him ad nauseum. It is such a good platform. I've now caught rainbows, browns, cutthroat, steelhead, and pike on that fly in slightly different color variations. I mean, it's just a killer, a cross-species killer. We've got all the materials to tie it.
That's Blue Ribbon Flies, by the way.
Yeah, they've got it there. They've got the commercial ones there. We also have the materials to tie it online if you want them. And I mean this with
Did we ever
absolute...
post the fly up and show it?
I'll post
Probably
one
should ask
in
him
here.
if we should do that. They have it on theirs. And Blue Ribbon has it on theirs.
Yeah, they have
tying it.
It'd be fun to have Bucky
Such
come
a
tie
great
it
tire.
on our channel or something. I don't know if
I think he's already done it on theirs.
Maybe, yeah, I couldn't find an instructional video
Really?
for it, but it's, and I say this with no disrespect, it is a very simple pattern, but it's extremely elegant. I mean, it is a beautiful tie. He puts jungle cock on it, and mine don't look like his.
It's funny. I don't remember a lot of stuff reading Bates' book again, and he's talking about putting jungle cock on flies and dressing and horns and different things, that old school stuff. And he goes, they really look good. He said, I'm sure it makes absolutely no difference.
None. No difference at all,
He goes,
but they look really
and jungle
cool.
cock is really expensive. And he said, so he was saying back then even, right? Which it's not that bad. But yeah, I mean, Bucky's fly, I mean, most of the wet flies, I think the more ornate they get, the less they fish.
Probably
At least
so.
for me.
Yeah.
That's there's another one that Tom Noms used to tie called the Abortion, which was very reminiscent, but it was not as elegant, but it was just brownie tan, no, brownie red kind of, I don't know what color it would be. And then 7 turns of gold mylar, I think, over it, and then a really webby pheasant rump. It just looked like nothing.
Right.
God, I ate the shit out of it.
It's,
And and if you had dirty water, I mean, you just
Clobber 'em
instant,
on it.
it was over. But yeah, I mean, it's really kind of the same. Bucky's is just, he's got an elegant style. There's cats that do that in tying. There's people that can do, they can just take a 2x4 and make it look like it's an ornate wood. It's just, They just do. Andy was the same way. And when you watch him tie, it's kind of like that chick, she ties flies.
Yeah.
She could tie an egg and make it look cool, like because her
She
hands
has.
move.
Yes.
And she does this with her hand. And if you watch those guys, Andy was the same. Jack Gartside was the best at it. He's like a freaking magician, doing this stuff. And part of that, if you watch them, especially the Spey and the Atlantic guys, they aren't caressing that for no reason.
Right.
They are making materials move to a certain position, and when they go through, and you just go, wow. And it's always, when you watch Davey McField tie. And Davey McField ties everything that somebody wrote me once, the materials are at his command. And it's true, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like he just drops it on there and it works. Like, watch him set a bronze set. Oh my God. It's so frightening.
I mean, it's like watching Freddie Couples swing a golf club.
Whatever.
It's very complicated things happening, and yet it looks so simple and elegant. Yeah.
So there we go. Moving on.
Yeah. So go tie Bucky's fly, and Bucky's just.
I was almost positive I saw that on one of their.
Maybe so. I couldn't find it the other day, but
I'll call Bucky and ask him.
The other.
Or we'll have him come down
the other
and tie
thing,
one for
I
us.
think the difference adding jungle cock or not, right? I'm rewatching Breaking Bad right now. Ever watch that show?
No.
It's unbelievably good. But
I did watch that movie that you guys are always talking about with Will Ferrell and Magic Man when they were twin brothers.
Step Brothers.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mel made me watch it because
It's unbelievable.
making fun of me on a podcast.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's not as good as Talladega Nights.
I think it's right there.
No,
it's
close though.
You didn't like the dinner conversation about bonita fish? No, so I was rewatching Breaking Bad, and there's this scene where Jesse he's at rehab for meth, and they're asking him if he's ever been proud of anything. He said the only thing he's ever been proud of in his life, high school, like wood shop class, he built a box so that he could just get a D and go smoke dope with his buddies. And the teacher says, "Is that the best you can do?" It's not a prod, but it's an honest question. He goes, "Well, maybe I'll try one more." And then he ends up doing 7 more and makes something he's like truly proud of. And I feel like there's something similar in fly tying, right? Where there's guide flies, where guys just, rip off a fly, it fishes. And then there's, Atlantic style flies. I just can't get away from Bucky's.
I wish Johnny was here to hear you say that, because I don't believe there's a guide fly that you could just, unless it was like a thread midge. But, you ever look at Trey Brash look at flies?
Yeah.
He's looking for a shade of everything. He'll pick through it. He'll sit in my bins, and it could be the mylar midges.
Right.
He'll pick for a shade. But I get what you're getting.
Yeah, like I've heard steelhead guides talk about just like
a hare's
rabbit
ear.
zonkers,
I wouldn't fish anybody's hare's ear but my own.
Right.
I mean, it's just one of my things.
But I think you have this thing where you want, clearly you do. We talk about flies with soul all the time. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at. There's flies with soul, there's flies that fish, and I'm new to this, and of course I'm always a hypocrite, everyone knows that, but I'm really enjoying fishing flies that are a little bit different and something that I perceive to be cool. And it just,
like that cat that you were talking about.
Yeah, actually I want to bring that up because it's so eloquently said.
It kind of covers all fishing and tying.
Everything. So Adrian Cortez, Steelhead on Instagram, who he's, a very accomplished steelhead angler. He basically throws only his own hand-tied dry flies.
And this kind of comes back to the anti-Euro when we were talking about learning the other stuff. And it's not anti-Euro, it's just people are doing it. But there becomes, and we talked about with Johnny, where it was like, at a certain point, you just want to do shit. We're talking about Kurt Kruger, where he says, I'm done.
Just want to see their head come up.
I don't care. Yeah. Don't care anything.
So this
guy just
epitomizes that really well. And go check him out on Instagram. All he does is skate dry flies on bamboo rods for steelhead, which is I mean, just
He's got one other level to that, where he only fishes one fly on one rod.
Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah, he's got a steelhead
got a rod
bee
for
and
a fly.
or a dry fly bee and a dry fly caddis.
Yeah.
And one rod only throws one fly, and he ties him in his hand. He doesn't use vices, and he's
yes.
Yeah. So this is the elite levels of.
I
say this tongue in cheek, but that's elite levels of douchebaggery in steelhead. I mean,
I know guys like that in the bamboo world that are so, but usually they're builders, right? And they're really into it, right?
Yes. Well, I believe he's a rod builder as well.
I would guess.
Yeah.
Mostly.
But this is the final evolution of.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but one of his captions on Instagram is, "The fish itself can be caught in a coarse manner or by elegant means. It matters not to the fish. It will succumb to the dry fly or bead and everything else in between. But to further the sport of angling, it behooves the fly angler to have a set of challenges wherein an accomplishment can be celebrated."
Yeah.
It matters.
It's right back to that spay thing in dry only. By the way, that's another great, the dryer die gang or something like that. Their flies are spectacular. I'm on that. I go down those. I did this morning. I was up at 5:30. I sat there going through these fly patterns on everybody's. I get up at 5:30. I get on that thing looking at I was starting at fly tying spaces, so I was thinking about my new fly tying room at the house. And I was thinking, next thing I know, it's 8 o'clock.
Right.
I'm like, shit.
Oh, shit, it happens fast.
But, between the spay cats, I don't even spay fish anymore. I mean, why would I can sit and look at those. I can look at those patterns until my eyes fall out. Enough of this. Moving on.
Before we move on, I called out Midnight Sun Custom Flies a couple weeks ago, and a bunch of people kindly pointed out that his name's Jonathan Farmer, and he's got a great new steelhead book out, and he's
really.
It's called Chasing Chrome. Everybody told me I got to buy it and read it, and that it's
By
awesome.
the way, in the new store, we're gonna have every freaking book alive.
Yeah, we should have a little library.
I feel like we should put for sale.
No, that's what I mean. But
we should have a real one because, especially with a guy with a room temperature IQ. I've lived my whole life. Me.
All right.
My whole life has been books. I just never read one covered. Right. That was my thing. I would sit and read this section and that section, come back to it. I just never sat down and read until I was in my 50s. But I would always just grab these pieces. It was always techie books about how to fish and shit. But now, I mean, just like read, I'd love to know how many times I've read this freaking book.
Yeah.
It's a really quick read. It's a giant book, right?
Yeah, how big are the words?
It's 200 patterns.
Yeah, a lot of pictures.
Now, there's only a few fly plates, but the actual fishing part of it is it's not very, you get into it, half this is just patterns and their dressings. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, to see the way they did things.
Yeah.
And, when I'm reading that as a kid, my dad was this insatiable reader. Mm-hmm. I mean, thousands and thousands of books in his life. And always giving me one for Christmas. I just look at the freaking pictures and go in there and see, how's he say he fishes it? Look at the picture. Okay, tie the fly. Go try to fish it.
Right.
I'm not going to read all this shit about, especially in Joe Brooks' trout, the history. Shit, I was 50 years old before I read that. I mean, had no desire to hear anything about England. I said, we left there for a reason. And I just want to see the pictures of the flies. And so I can go tie the flies. Mm-hmm. But anyway, there we are.
All right.
Good discussion. Good job, Adam. You got all that going.
All right. I don't know if we've got time to do your letter guy. Let's save that for the next podcast.
Okay.
We'll open with that on the next one because Kelly's all pissed off. And it's fun to do at the beginning. Get them all fired up. All right, let's jump into...
Are we shooting 2 today?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can
sweet.
we? Is that all right?
Yeah, as long as you got the energy. You're the sick boy.
We'll see.
If I get fucking tonsillitis, it's going to be something.
It's really hard to get tonsillitis.
If you don't have tonsils?
Well, without deep tongue kissing. Should I edit that out? I might.
That might be one you will.
Okay, so we talked about this a little bit, but this is a question from SRV Man 2. I just want to kind of shout him out. You can talk more on it if you want. Would love to know what Kelly thinks of traditional Atlantic salmon flies. Is there lots of room for advancement in fly design there, or is it pushed as far as it can go?
I wonder if when he says traditional, because that'd be one where you'd say guide flies, traditional flies, or if he means class, like
I
classic.
think he means classic, like that one back there, that kind of, the really elegant colors.
And you don't. There's certain places where you'll see that, but there's lots of room for. There's a lot of guide flies that are very basic. They're not so ornate like that, and they're not 9-hour flies to tie, and cost you $300 in materials or something.
Right.
But they're fun. Jay would be a great guy to ask that because he's such an accomplished trout angling or trout tyer. But from what little I've fished Atlantics, which was all in Michigan, but they're now they got a big reintroduction. I see Kelly Newman on there a lot, and his clients. And there's, but I also get a couple magazines from Europe, and there's one that's really heavy in Atlantic salmon. And most of the ones I see are dressed down. There's some color, but there's a lot of working flies are really basic, really, really basic, right? And so, but I don't, that's one out of my league because if I was an Atlantic fisherman where I did that a lot, I'm sure I would be trying different patterns constantly. I mean, there's a lot of setup. There's a lot of tradition that goes into a lot of Atlantic fishing where you just kind of do things because you're supposed to, and you might be the turd in the punch bowl if you didn't. But the guy like Jeff Unger's a big John Gospodaric. I've seen those guys. They go over and fish a lot, and they have completely different patterns than what would be traditional.
Right.
And so I would say, there's plenty of room. Always. There's plenty of room in everything. It's just, that's what we were talking about. Move that needle.
Yeah.
Change something. Look in history. I mean, some of those flies that did that, like the clink hammer. I mean, I always think of that one. I thought that was the dumbest fly on earth. Yeah. It's absolutely stupid that thing, it was upside down to me. They ate the shit out of it.
Right.
The other one's the film critic. The film critic, I thought, that is so dumb. It just doesn't, they eat the hell out of it. So, don't try something. Go out and do it. I would say there's plenty of room, though. But I would really encourage you to look at the English tyers, Irish and English, Scottish tyers. There's pages on them. You look it up, there's millions of pages on these. They're really into tying. And just to see outside of what we think is traditional, because there's a lot of great tyers over there. And and that's their life.
Do you think the Atlantic and steelhead, this kind of like traditional classic style, you can get really kind of almost weird with them because the fly matters less? I guess that's the question I'm asking. Does the fly matter less? There's a lot of steelhead guides that I've kind of talked to that think it's more about finding an active fish and being there at the right time.
Same with Atlantic. I mean, I've read stories of, I don't remember what book I was just reading this in the other night, about a guy that swung a hole that had, I don't remember what it was, but 7 hours over visual fish. Mm-hmm. And he changed to a trout fly and first swing got a fish.
Got one, yeah.
Right? And so, and the places I fished them, where I did the traditional, and then you go and just fished them like a brown trout, and they ate it. So, but I'm not an expert on it by any means. But it does kind of summarize exactly what we're talking about. Somebody had to tie the first freaking perdigon.
Right.
Right? And that somebody is one freaking genius right now.
Yeah.
Right? And somebody had to tie the first parachute. Somebody had to do everything.
Right.
And then actively retrieving things or whatever. There's just always room. Yeah, look at the bass world. I mean, my God, the millions and millions of dollars these guys fish for. And every year there's something new. Well, you could just as easily say there's nothing left, there's nothing new. Put money on it, and I'll guarantee you,
right,
we will find a way to cheat.
Incentivize.
Yes, we will find. I mean,
it's like baseball, right? Baseball's the oldest game in this country, or at least the oldest professional sport. It goes way back, and just this year, the invention of the torpedo bat.
Yeah.
right, where the bat's thicker in the middle.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever done that before. And then now these guys are, and
Yeah.
it's hard to tell whether or not it's actually had an effect on hitting home runs, but like it's a material change.
Cork bats did.
Cork bats definitely
So,
made them.
somebody had to come up with
Steroids.
Yeah, well, that was a good one, too.
How about the guy who I think he was the brains behind PayPal, Peter Thiel, he's a Silicon Valley mafia guy. He's financing the improved games, something like that, where they're encouraging people to take steroids.
Yeah, like they aren't already.
No,
that's
everybody
my point.
tries to get away with cheating, but here they're saying take the real steroids, get on them, and so
Like
there's these
we
before.
haven't forever.
No, I know, but the athletes.
Yeah.
for
No,
a
I've
long
always
time
said that.
shouldn't. Right.
That's what I said. What we really truly want in the end is fucking gladiators.
Yes.
We want to see somebody's head fall off when somebody runs into them.
I'm all for baseball allowing steroids. I want to watch somebody hit 90 home runs a year. That's exciting.
Well, we were
stuff.
close for a while.
I know. Could you imagine?
But my point with that was always coming from the bodybuilding world when you guys would say they were natural.
Right.
You say, well, go on to Desert Island for 7 weeks and we'll see how you look when you get back.
Right.
Mr. Natural.
Well, I mean, about, you remember?
But every sport, back in the 70s with the Eastern European women, oh my God. But yeah, no, they're all clean, right?
Right, yeah.
But everything on her, we've always done it. There should just be, when I was in Houston, there was a guy who wrote a book on, when I was down there training Hanks, and there was a guy who wrote a book on beating the Olympics, how to beat the underground book of steroids, whatever. But how to beat
their testing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them was to literally put a syringe in your freaking, and suck your piss out and put somebody else's in. And you're willing to do that? And when I retired bodybuilding,
I think that's called an oil change.
When I quit bodybuilding, I did this thing. It was a Christian program that they would go and talk to high school kids about steroids. And I'm still all puffed up like a, Christmas turkey. And I went with another guy I fought with, Ed Hahn, who is a I think he was a national champ wrestler from Michigan, doctor. And we'd go and talk to these high school kids, right? Mm-hmm. You walk in and everybody would be all puffed up in the front row, right? And because I'm up there and they'd show my pictures competing and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. And I say to him, he says, the funny thing about, and it was a very Christian thing. And I told the guy when he asked me, Pete Cross, and he asked me to do it, I says, no, I'm not going to talk like you want me to talk. So I won't be censored. I said, I get what you say. I said, but kids aren't, this whole thing about not being juveniles at 14, they should be adults. They are so past that, and they were back 30 years ago. This whole Opie Taylor bullshit. They're 14-year-old, 16-year-old boys. They've been on the juice for a year, right? And they're sitting there, and you're going to go and talk to them, medical. So that's why I had Ed, who's a doctor. We'd have him talk the science of it, and I'd say, what he really means is your nuts are going to shrink up, and your tits are going to milk if you get on that shit too long. And he's doing all this stuff, and I says, but the funny thing is, I says, there's an old saying, you can shit the fans, but you can't shit the players. Right. I said, I can tell you, every guy in that front row that's all puffed up, I can tell you what you're on and when you started. And every one of them get really skinny.
No more invisible lat syndrome there.
Yeah, but with this program, went to the 88 Olympics, and they asked, I think it was 88, summer, whatever it was, I think it was, but and they asked the entire U.S. team if you could take a pill and you could win the gold, but in 1 year you would be dead. You know what percentage said they'd take it? 88.
Whoa. Some competitive
You've been trying for something since you were 2-3 years old.
Right.
You're going to want to win the sumbitch, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like the Olympics are. Having lived with all those liars, that's why I couldn't. I think I'm the only bodybuilder on earth that didn't lie about being on this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 230. It's you graduated high school 4 years ago and you weighed 170. Oh yeah, it's good government cheese.
Put 60.
Just got on some.
Started eating Twinkies.
Oh God, you should try this new protein stuff.
Rice
out
and
there.
chicken.
But it was just so. It's kind of like competitive fly fishing. That's why I say it all the time. We will look for. That's what we do as a human species. We look for a way to cheat or to win, right? And if it means cheating, what we do is we find the way to cheat. You get caught cheating, and then you make it legal, or you
That is the
different.
game of baseball.
It's a game of
The
everything,
game of
for
baseball.
God's sake.
Cheating is part of baseball until they outlaw the specific way to cheat. Like
How many times did they
stealing
refine
signs
the
and-
game of chess so that you couldn't cheat?
Right.
I mean, there's like spelling. There's nothing we won't do it to.
Right. Yeah.
Just like when I went up and saw that son of a bitch yesterday, if I had a rock, I'd have thrown at him. On the outside men up above Jacqueline's.
Nymphing Reds.
Oh. Dude, not only nymphing, you could see him doing the sweep with the rod.
Oh, fuck.
It's legal.
Special place in hell. Yeah, to wrap that up, I want to see Aaron Donald come back to the NFL and Myles Garrett, and I want to see them take steroids. And
I don't know who they are, but I agree.
I'll show you a photo of them after. There might be the two scariest men that have ever played the game of football. They're right up there. I know some people are going to come at me with a bunch of old D-line.
Roman.
Was it Lawrence Taylor? I mean, he was kind of a scary individual. But Myles Garrett's a frightening man, and he would probably take somebody's head off.
Yeah, the Rams. Roman. God, I can't remember his last name.
I don't know.
I remember watching a documentary and talking about how you get down in a thing and break people's fingers.
Gabriel.
Gabriel, yes. He was a badass. He goes, I was there to hurt everybody.
That's
At least you're honest.
Thank God we fly fish. At least I do. All right, well, let's wrap this one up.
That was great.
Yeah, kind of random
Hope
episode.
you all had a
fun.
great Thanksgiving. It is 3 days afterwards. I had a great one. Didn't gain too much weight.
I did.
That was good. But I hope you enjoyed it.
And we will see you next week.
See you then. We'll be in the same clothes. Just in case you're wondering. It's too cold to go change.
I'll still be sick. Yes.
And you'll still sound like
I'll still
whatever.
sound like shit.